Going live. What's up, profitable stylist? Here we go. We're doing CPR. So get the paddles. Everybody scream clear. Zap. Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Clear. I want to do that one day so bad.
You want to zap somebody with the paddles?
I don't know. I don't want to hurt anybody, but it's just so intriguing to me when you put those two things on there. And obviously, the clear is like, don't touch this body or you're going to get zapped like an electric fence also. Boom, and the whole body jumps off the table. That's what I see in movies. I don't know how real that is in real life.
I take it you've never played with a taser or you've never been tased yourself.
All right, let's keep it PG here.
No, I'm not. Okay, electric fence. Oh, no, you do invisible fence. You don't do electric fence. Yeah, well.
I used to have vegetable gardens. Today we're going to talk about CPR, and it's an acronym for some things that you should be, I learned an interesting fact about acronyms. An acronym, technically, to be called an acronym, like CPR is not an acronym. Even though the C, the P, and the R stands for things that we remember to grow our salon businesses and not really CPR like most people know it in the medical world. But the letters have to spell a word that you can kind of say, and then it's an acronym. So just if you're just using the letters to remember something like CPR, but if it, it has to be like NASA, National, I don't even know what NASA stands for, but NASA has something to do with our country's defense and air. What is NASA? It's a space, our space thing.
Jeez.
Of the letter stand. You're going to Google it. See, you don't know either.
I have an excuse. What's your excuse?
Oh, yeah. I know. And my dad worked for Lockheed Martin. But
National Aeronautics and Space Administration.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't have known that. So the thing about CPR is we always talked in our salon meetings every week about how to grow your business. And RJ, my business partner, he's noticing that a few of the topics that I really hit on, he said, wait a minute, it's like those three things kind of are something that would be easy to remember. And so tell us, Eddie, what does CPR stand for?
You got cards, products, rescheduling. CPR.
Right. Now, I like to say rescheduling, guys. I'm all about words that make us sound smarter so we can charge more. Too often people say, did you book them? Did you rebook them? Did you book? Can I book you? I mean, that just sounds like a detective show I've watched in the past,
Dick Tracy.
It sounds like you put them in jail, or you just sentenced them, and, book them, John.
Book them, Deno.
Yeah. And so I just don't like, did we book you? I mean, it just sounds so low class to me. But there are words I still need to clean up. I'm always trying to clean up my language. I'm not criticizing anybody. I'm just trying to help people move forward. But we gave away the whole thing already. CPR, cards, products, and rescheduling. Those are, let me start with this though. Those are probably the three building blocks that I build my business on in the salon. But I don't think anybody, not even myself, can be really strong. Such a glare behind me, huh? I don't think anybody can be really strong in all three. So I wanted to ask you, if you had to pick one of those three, what are you best at out of the three? Or is your favorite? And it's probably both, your favorite and your best at.
I'm the strongest at the products. I'm so
glad you said that.
I'm the best at cards. Yeah, I'm the best at cards, but I'm the strongest in products. And what do I mean by that is I'm always good about remembering to do the cards, give cards, pass cards, right? But when I look at my performance of what does the most out of the three, I just naturally have an affinity to sell products without even trying to sell products.
That's perfect. And so we're the perfect team to talk about this today because we'll cover all three really strongly because my strongest, most favorite, and best is only one, and it's rescheduling. Okay. I was a very, very weak retailer I just always was, because
Mm.
in my mind, and it's not right, but in my mind, and I think I need to say this because I think a lot of people might think like this. For me, I thought if I'm gonna use my time and worth to sell something, I can make a lot more money selling a service right now rather than a retail product. But I wasn't looking into the future. I wasn't looking at, like, if I try real hard to sell a bottle of shampoo right now, I never have to sell it again. And if that client stays with me for 4 or 5 years, 10 years, they're going to most likely, because I still use the same products over and over. You just get creatures of habit, you know. I need
Mm.
another bottle of shampoo. I need another bottle of conditioner. I need another can of hairspray. And the one you sold them because it worked best with their hair, they keep buying. That's my tiny bit of knowledge about retail products, is that you sell it really hard once if you really believe in it, and then they just keep buying it. So you just keep making money. And
Mm.
I appreciate that. But we've got different situations. Some people are in a salon where you don't benefit from selling retail products. Maybe the owner doesn't pay you. Maybe you make 10% and you don't think 10% is enough. But then some of you guys are renting in a little room, and you've got this little shelf you can put up, and you buy something for $5 and you can sell it for 10 or 15. Then I would say you're crazy not to sell retail because the profit margin is huge.
Well, I'm surprised that you're weak in cards because you're really good at networking, especially when we go to events and we go to shows together. And I see you mingling.
So when I know our friend Jude Grayson calls
Yeah.
this a podcast, and I guess in the modern day world, this is more of a podcast in the way I used to watch podcasts or listen to podcasts, which also became videos. But I started off in the Apple world of doing just a verbal podcast. I would talk in my car while I was going to work, and I'd have it a little edited, and it was just a listening podcast. And the titles of one of my podcasts and it was a little bit of a hook bait kind of thing, was "I Hate Business Cards." And so when you say that, that gets people's attention, and they're like, but don't you need them to grow your business? You do. And the reason I hate them is because of the way most people use them. I am not much about passive growth. I'm not much about, and my philosophy in life and everything is you can be one of two people. You're either letting stuff happen or making stuff happen.
Mm.
And I'm always of the opinion of, if I want something to happen, I'm going to make sure it happens, or do my best to make sure it happens. And with business cards, it's such a passive growth thing. People just hand their cards out with the hopes that people come in. Hey, please. To me, it almost feels like and seems like begging. Even if I do it, I know we talked about it recently, and you talked about the handing out a card or two or three, and people are already your client. You're like, yeah, but give it to a friend. Even that feels like begging to me, because I take all of those things we talked about with cards and go a step further in my head. I was at a God, who did Amway out there? I did Amway years ago. I learned so much.
Amway.
I
Wow.
know. I learned so many. I read a lot of books. I learned a lot about being motivated to sell, and they don't let it happen. You book the
Oh
meeting.
God.
You book the meeting. You don't stop calling until they get in or say, "Stop
Go
calling me."
away. You're right. They changed their
So,
number. This line's been disconnected.
number you have dialed has been disconnected or is no longer in service. If you feel you've reached this number in error, please hang up and try again. Message 457.
We've gotten that so many times. You got it memorized.
You have reached a number that is no. Yeah. So I love that message, by the way. It became a friend of mine. But But listen, this was an interesting thing. This guy tells me one time, well, he's telling the whole crowd, but I think he's just talking to me. He said, you ever take the psychology, I'm going to turn sideways so you can kind of see it. You ever take the psychology of taking a business card and say, I got this business card, and if a client or a potential client, I love your face right now. I know you're real interested.
I'm focusing. I'm paying attention.
There is something crazy about, I love the psychology of it and the personal space thing. If you go like this, you take a business card, you go, oh, I got a business card for you, or I have something for you, and you pull it out and you go to hand it towards them, and they lift their hand up to take it, and then you pull it back and hold it by your chest. what's going to happen? They're not going to grab it from you. They won't touch it. And so what he said is you go, oh, it's like this tease. This is how you get their attention. He said, oh, I got something for you. And you start to hand it and then you pull it back like you had an afterthought and you want to tell them something. And this is when the sales pitch happens, or the ask, or the say whatever you want to say right now that you want them to listen to, because they're like, a few things are going on. They're paying attention because at the least they don't want to be embarrassed of when you do hand the card out and they're not paying attention. You ever do that hanging high five? Hey, 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 and they're like, oh, and then they put their, so the business card thing, they know it's getting ready to come their way and they don't want to be embarrassed and not grab it. And they're thinking, you're getting ready to hand it to me. And so they start listening or paying attention at least to the card, and your words are right there by the card. And so that's when you go, hey, listen, I am blah, blah, blah. And so at this point, I have 2 cards in my hand. I don't ever use one if I'm going to use a paper card, but I've even gone further than that now. I pull 2 out and I say, hey, I'm going to give you this card so you can remember my number if you decide to call, but do me a favor, write your number on the back of that other card, and I'll have now listen, you see that twist? I could say, and I'll call you later, but I want to class it up a little, and I'm going to have my salon coordinator, not my receptionist, not my secretary or my friend or my, I'm going to have my salon coordinator, can be male or female. It's not derogatory. It's a higher level. I'm so busy. I don't have time to call you. Somebody, and I do end up doing most of the calling, but at least in the moment, it sounds super fancy.
Yeah, sure.
Let me get your number, and I'll have my salon coordinator call and schedule an appointment. Now, for me, it was a little bit more. If I'm meeting somebody out and I want to do their hair, I go even further. If I'm going to take the time to talk to somebody and I'm going to use a paper card, cardboard card, whatever, I don't really like cards necessarily because most people just hand them out. So I don't like cards unless you're going to really use it as a tool. And then if I'm going to take the time to talk to somebody, they better freaking come to me to get their hair done, or I feel like I wasted my time. So in my head, it's like a do or die situation. It's like life or death. I'm going to make sure they come to me. I picked them out. I looked at them. I liked their hair. It's so much so that if somebody at a party says, oh, I hear you're a hairdresser, whatever, goodbye. I don't, you heard I'm a hairdresser. Are you coming to me? Do you want to get your hair done? Let's talk about something meaningful and real. You're just trying to make conversation. But if I liked your hair and I want to do your hair, I'm gonna control the whole conversation, say how much I like your hair and how I would like to do it. And if they're like, I'm ready for every answer. It can be everything from, I would love for you to do my hair. Let's schedule it. I've got my appointment I got my book on my phone these days, or I already have a hairdresser. That's not good enough either. I'm still going to do your hair. So, and there's a lot in between. I'm not from here. I don't live here. I'm getting ready to move. Nobody touches my hair. So I'm ready for the worst and the best, and then a few in between. And if they're like, oh, I already go to so-and-so. I'm like, do you? But I liked your hair so much and wanted you to try me. I don't have a lot of open time, but I have a 10 o'clock spot open Saturday. You work Saturday? No. I'm going to do your hair this first time on me to show you what I've got. That's how much I believe in me. I believe so much in me that if I like your hair enough, can tell you have enough money to maintain your hair so you can pay me well to do it, I'm going to make sure I can do everything I can to do your hair before the end of the week. And so I'm willing to go all the way to free, because to me, what free looks like is the only paid advertising I did in my business back then. I'm not paying back then. I'm not paying for the phone book, the newspaper, radio, TV. I'm not doing boosting posts. I'm saying I'm willing to do 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 free people a month throughout career, just to always be bringing in, even though I'm booked solid or not, I'm wanting to bring in those few new ones. And I'm going to pick who they are by what they look like in the community, the kind of people I want to represent me and my clientele. So that's me on business cards. And so it was little short spurts when I wanted to get a client or 2 new. But what I moved into, and I know I'm totally monopolizing this time. I got a little passionate about the cards.
I'm letting you have it, man. I'm letting you go. I wish I had some popcorn.
don't know if you can see this, but POPL, it's called Popple. I just discovered this recently. There's a digital offline mode. Oh, I must be offline right now. So I've got this digital business card that pops up a QR code. I can send either a QR code to somebody, but somebody at a function, like at these hair functions we went to recently, they're asking me, do you have a card? I'm like, first of all, if I give you a card, I'm probably never hearing from you again. And I say, oh, I have a digital card. Let me send it to you. Or I'll pop up the QR code and let them scan it. But if I send it to them, many times I get their number in the sending. So I'm like, what's your cell phone number?
Yeah,
So
I'll text
now
you. Yeah, right.
I get their number. I text them the digital business card, but I've also now got the thing I used to want to get on paper, their cell phone number. Now I got it because I'll send them my number. Even before that, I would say, let me just text you my name and number. That way I'd get their name and number and I'd send it. And I'd ask for them to, it's funny, Jude is trying to call me right now. The guy we were just talking about. Is that the universe telling him? Does he not know we're talking?
It's
right
called Ears Are Burning.
So I got Jude right now because he should know that we're doing a live, but just wanted to mention it. So weird. We say his name and then boom, he's calling me. So crazy.
It's wild.
So go ahead.
No,
So go ahead and give me your idea of what to do with business cards.
It's funny that you brought up the Amway thing because that's the way I've always viewed business cards, as it is part of your downline. How many people, like, you are the top, and how many people can you pass it out to? How many people can they pass it out? And how many people can they pass it out?
Yeah, that's interesting.
So I've always viewed business cards as a form of advertising to create your clients to become your salespeople for yourself. When I first opened the salon, I didn't have a salon coordinator. We didn't have all the help. We weren't full, so we needed to, look, this is something I've learned in business. And I've talked about this in other videos that we've done. When I first learned about double booking, I thought that was the biggest, coolest thing in the freaking world. And when I first learned that I can get an assistant and now I can work twice as much, like double booking to me was working double, producing double. And then getting an assistant to me was producing triple to quadruple. So it was like this mind-blowing experience. So the way I looked at business cards was, I can only talk to one person at a time because I am one person. But now, if I give you my card and have you pass out my card to somebody else, you talking to somebody, and while you talking to somebody, I can go talk to somebody else. So then it just became a matter of, how do you incentivize somebody to speak on your behalf? And what is the best way to do that? If your client says they love you, if they truly love you, then they want you to be profitable. They want you to be busy, right?
Most clients don't realize. I mean, most hairdressers don't realize. Right. You just ask a client, help me grow. They're like, absolutely. Just tell me what to do.
Tell me what to do.
And
it's funny because we always do for the client. So every once in a while, if you ask a client to do back for you, it really is, you would be surprised how big of a deal they feel when you're getting them involved in the business. Because how fun is that to be able to walk around and say, I am a representative of Onstage Salon, and it's like, you got to come to my shop. This is my club. This is the club I go to,
That's a good point.
It really is that mentality. So the thing, what it came down to was this. In the beginning, I didn't get it perfectly right, but nowadays I got it down pretty good.
Right.
On certain clients, you just have to kind of tell them what to do, which means you give them the card and you say, write your name on this card, and I'm going to give whoever you hand this out to 30%, 40%, a free service, a free product, whatever you feel in your wheelhouse of services that you can give comfortable and you can do. That's what you write on the card. You have the client write their name on it, and you make your client write their name on it so they have a piece of ownership in it too. When they hand it out, when the person comes in, obviously you honor what was put on the business card. But to that client whose name was on that card, you got to give them something back too. And in the beginning, I was giving equal. Now I give double back to the client who did the referring. And nowadays, I've taken it I've gone extreme. So I learned this. So I used to go to Dairy Queen. There was a,
Commercial break, quick commercial break. At the end, I'm going to talk about my favorite, which is the rescheduling and
okay.
why it's the most powerful thing I've ever done and how I got into it. But I'm liking this a
Yeah.
lot. But I just want people to stay to the end for my favorite. Go.
No, we'll get it. Cause like I said, cards is what I do really well,
Right.
but products is what I'm the best at, which is really weird. But I learned this really early on. There was this little girl that used to work at Dairy Queen. I used to flirt with her for ice cream. And well, I should say little girl. Like she was in her early 20s. To me, that's little. I don't know. Anyways,
Yeah, go ahead.
young woman. So I used to say to her, I jokingly used to say to her, you know what? If there's anything I can give you for free, let me know. And she's like, you give me a free hair. I go, you know what? If you refer me somebody, I'll do your hair for free. And she misunderstood. She goes, every person I refer to you, you're going to do my hair for free? Every time? And I'm like, yeah, how many? Yes. Like, how many people are you going to plan on referring?
Because you're so used to people not sending much.
Right? So she
Right.
goes, oh, you're going to do my hair for free forever because I'm going to send you everybody in the whole world. And she's like, in her mind, she's like, I got you, sucker. I'm going to get my hair for free forever. And in my mind, I'm like, I love you. Will you marry me? Like what the hell? Like this is amazing. So I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
And I ended up doing her hair for free for a long time because even just a consultation, that's all I asked for. I didn't care if they actually became clients or not. Just the fact that somebody walked in the door and wanted to willingly sit down and get a consultation from me because they were referred from her, I just incentivized the hell out of her. So
Well, let me
nowadays,
tell you, friend for free. That's what I call the friend
oh,
for free.
friend for free. Yeah, yeah.
Well, tell you how we do it. One of my stylists just came to me last week, and I don't know if she's ever done this plan before, but I've been running it for many, many years. And she said, Bernard, what do you think about me running this special? I might do like 10 or 20% off, get some new clients. And I said, Mariah's her name. I said, Mariah, the best way to get new clients is through your happy existing clients. I recommend, and for a lot of reasons, the friend for free program. And she said, oh, I like that. I said, but listen through. The friend has to be a first-time visitor to the salon or never been to you before. So tell your friends, your clients, as you're calling and rescheduling them, not rescheduling, reminding them of their already scheduled appointment because you rescheduled them
The
already.
confirmation phone calls, right?
Calling a couple of days before for the reminder. Maybe you call a few extra days and you say, hey, I'm doing a friend for free program. You can bring a friend that's never been to me before to get the exact same thing you're doing, except for extensions and hair replacement because the product cost is so high. I'll do them for no charge. So basically, you can bring your daughter, your mom, your best office friend girl, your girlfriend, bring her in. And here's the deal: you'll have to come at the same time because what it does for my salon is it teaches the hairdresser how to multitask, do two clients at the same time. The friends don't mind. So the friends either split the price half and half, so they both get half price, or like you, the friend is they're getting a friend done completely free. So it's a big time gift, especially during the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
They're giving a complete gift to a friend to get their hair done to go to Christmas with new hair or Thanksgiving. But if it's done aggressively and correctly, it doubles your clientele because every single client that comes brings somebody. And then that person a month later, if you run the program longer than a month, they could bring them and you could double again the next month. So it's not free. It's half price basically because you're the one paying full price, one's not paying. So it's averaging at half price. But it's teaching you how to get a client to wait while you highlight one and highlight the other, apply color and apply the color. So if one's getting a highlight, the other one can get a highlight or lesser. They could just get color or just a cut. But you're learning how to do two cuts, two highlights, two shampoos, two blow dries and styles.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, you book enough time, but it shows you how to go back and forth between two clients so you can learn a skill which is discounted to them. So they're happy to wait a little bit longer, and it teaches you how to do better, and you gain a client. So that's what I call it. Now make them come together. Friend for free program.
So that is two very distinct, strong approaches to cards. So now,
Yes.
so then products. So why? So you're saying now that. So you're just of the strong belief of you blow your load on the one time pitch, and that's it. They're just going to be using that one thing for the rest of
No,
their lives.
I'm telling you, that's all I got for retail. Hey, I, I just want to be real with our audience, and I'm not going to fake it here. I have never been a good retailer. I love professional products. I love to use a few of them. I've just never been good at. I love it when I hear you talk about a product and you could talk about all the freaking ingredients and what they do and how they change the pH and close and open and cuticle and repair and protein and what? I've got I don't have the interest in. I didn't go to college because I didn't want to learn science and stuff like that. So I never was interested. I barely got out of hair school when they got into all the, oh my God, all the real technical, I don't know, what do you call it? The names of the growth stages of hair. I don't care. It's growing, not growing, and dormant. I mean, let's use English. But when it comes to these scientific words or medical words, I'm just gone.
I can't
I'm gone.
even.
I don't
I
care.
can't even do it.
So I'm like, shampoo, it cleans your hair. Conditioner makes it feel a little softer. And then we got the sticky stuff to hold it where you want it.
What about the clear Bernard? The 0-stroke 0-0.
Oh, yeah. And then the biggest lie of all time.
It's
Let's
not a
put-
lie.
I know. Let's gloss coat your hair. You want to go from
I hate you so much.
dull drab hair to this shiny hair. We'll put a light on you, or we can clear coat you.
We could put a light on you.
I just don't believe in clear coats either. And I know that the color world and the colorists out there just hate me for it. I don't see the difference. Maybe it's because I'm 53 and I'm going blind, but I don't.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, I'll put here. Look, I'll do it with glasses. I'm
Put
like,
your glasses
yeah,
on.
still don't look any better. But
All right. Here.
so go ahead.
Let me tell you.
Retail.
Let me tell you
Retail.
the retail, the products.
Yeah.
I figured this out because I started off as a colorist. That was my first thing of services, okay? The biggest thing about hair color is the client comes back in and they say that the color faded and they see red. Their hair could be paper white, they still see red. Their hair could be brown, they still see red. Their hair could be black, they still see red. Their hair is red, they still see too much red. Okay? So it's the biggest hairdresser joke of all time. Everybody still sees red. So what I figured out was
Brassy.
brassy. My hair is brassy. Right. It's annoying as hell. Why? So to me, everything when it comes to hairdressing is why. Why do clients do this? Why does this happen? I figured out it's not me that's right, make me Looney Tunes. It's not me that's doing the hair color wrong the first time. It's the progression of what's happening over the next 4 to 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, whatever it is in between them leaving and coming back, something is happening. And what is happening is they are happening to themselves. So the only way my services can last longer and the only way I can have a less headache is to equip the client with proper products and on some kind of a regimen. If I'm busting my butt for the hour or two that I got to work on their hair, then they need to bust their butt 10 minutes a day or whatever it is, however long time they spend on their hair, keeping and maintaining that hair. It's no different than hair extensions. Or hair replacement or hair, add-on hair. We make sure we have laws, we have bullet points, we have a whole entire maintenance regimen that if they do not follow, it voids the service. And worse than that, it causes matting, tangling, shedding, all kinds of mess, right? And we are really adamant about that strict regimen of maintaining hair extensions properly. So why not when it comes to hair color? Why not when it comes to haircut? Why not when it comes to any other smoothing service, perm, relaxer? I don't care what the hell you're getting done. You gotta maintain that somehow. And if you have good, proper conditioned hair and a good, proper maintenance regimen program, automatically it's done deal. Your hair is going to look good. You're going to feel good. You ain't going to see the freaking red no more. And I'm not going to be you know, with the migraine of, oh, here we go again. Geez, what am I gonna do? You know. So and that's why. The other thing is, I am not good at social protocol and social etiquette. I got a mouth on me. And because of that, when I'm during the appointment service time, I can't hold a conversation for very long about gossip and about random BS stuff. I don't watch television. I don't care. I don't listen to politics. I don't care. I don't do all the stuff that normal people do because I don't care. I have my own hobby. It's mine. I sit in the corner. I mind my business. I keep myself occupied, and nobody else, a very small few people share the same hobby that I do. So with that said, what do you do for the hour or two that you're sitting with somebody? You got to talk to them about something. I figured it out that if I talk to them about the regimen and the condition of their hair and how to maintain it properly so they can enjoy this service moving forward after they leave, that takes up the entire hour or two. It becomes like a lesson. And it's basically me
good.
being on stage doing what we do at shows. I'm just doing it every single time to each individual client. And it's almost like a practice for me for the next time I'm going to teach a class or the next time I'm going to be on stage again. So to me, that's what made me so strong at products, that it was out of necessity more than it was. And it was accidentally out of necessity because of my awkwardness, not because I love selling products.
That's good. No, that's good. And I think you did touch on a very important part of what we do for a living. Either we're going to talk a lot, or they're going to talk a lot, or there's going to be an awkward silence. Yeah. And to me, there's no relationship there. So I always tell my hairdressers, when I'm walking through the salon and it's silent and we've got 7 hairdressers doing 7 clients and I hear no words, I'm like, what is wrong with you? Do you not care about these people? I mean, fake it. If you don't like them, at least fake it. So what I learned early on, again, through Amway, it was very interesting. It's like, who feels more important in a conversation? I even wrote an article in the Link magazine.
By the way, we are not this episode this week is not sponsored by these dudes. I don't know how we got on this
Amway. I got a lot of my sales training through network marketing in the early days.
It really was.
I gotta say, they got some good sales training, no doubt. But what the heck was I saying? You threw me off here.
But you were talking about when the salon is quiet and nobody's talking to each other. You were talking about faking liking somebody.
When 2 people are talking to each other, or let's do it even better than that. When 2 people are together and one's doing all the talking and one's doing all the listening, which one feels more important in that situation? The talker or the listener?
The listener. No, the talker feels more important.
Yeah.
No, the talker feels more important.
The talker feels more important. So if you know that ahead of time, you ever have a good friend, you're like, God, you're such a good listener. I feel so much better. I feel better, and I didn't hear a thing from you. All I did was dump all my crap on you for like an hour because I had a bad day or weekend. And I love you because you listened to me, when you could just be a rock sitting there because you didn't do anything but, I guess, you didn't offer any advice, nothing. So let that be a lesson for hairdressers. The talker feels more important. And so if we're that hairdresser, like, oh my God, let me tell you about my weekend. You're chewing your gum and all you're doing is saying all the stuff that happened over the weekend, where you went to dinner and my husband drugged me to his family's house and we had to do this, and you're doing all the talking.
I can't deal with that.
Well, so either way, so I know, and you don't want to hear all that crap from the client, but at least I didn't have the energy to do all the talking like you. So it's funny that we did something similar. We filled that gap with noise, useful noise. Yours came from you and teaching about. Now, I would do a certain bit of teaching about why they should be getting services or more services or different services or hair extensions from me. So, I mean, I did fill that gap with some sales. But one of the more important things I learned early on was to get them talking. So I would ask them, how are you doing? And I used an acronym as another article I wrote in the link. Actually, I think it's in the same article. It was like FOR, FOR, family, occupation, recreation. And so that was the format I had to use because in the beginning, I wasn't good at socializing either. You know, you go to these parties and people are like, hey, how you doing? How's the family? How's your mom? How's your dad? And it's like the same thing over and over. And I thought, they have a format, you know? And so I learned this from Amway too early on. It was form, FORM, and I shortened it because they go to the M with the money. But for me, I didn't care about the money. I just want to know what they do. Family. So it's FOR, family, occupation, recreation. So for the F, it was like, tell me about your family. Or, you know, are you married? Are you not? Do you have children? Have you lived here all your life? And then I'll get in, what are you doing for a living? And get them talking about their family, their occupation, and then recreation or maybe hobbies. And by the time they're done that half hour being with me, getting their hair done, they have told me about their whole life. So they love me because I actively listened and either cared or at least acted like I cared, nicely and actively listening. And it did build a relationship. So the next time they came in, I knew a lot about their life. And I did start to become friends with them. They started to like me. We talked about, oh, your daughter got married last time. How'd the wedding go? You know, so you do become friends with your clients.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it was more about getting them to talk more so I wouldn't be out of voice by the end of the day. That was part of me. So let's move into rescheduling.
So this is your favorite.
Most powerful thing I've ever done in business. And I remember the neat thing about it is I experienced doing it and not doing it at the same time. And that makes that it's a little weird situation, but let me tell you the scenario. As a stylist, 53 years old now, I became a stylist 30 years ago. And yes, I've been out from behind the chair for close to 10 years now, but those first 20 years, that first year or two, I wasn't sure if anybody's going to let me do their hair. I got out of school, I wasn't that good at hair. But in school, I borrowed some girl's nail kit and took a nail class, and I was doing fiberglass nails. So I had a solid, within the first a month or two, I developed a solid nail clientele. And you know how often they come in? Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks, right?
So they just naturally want to book their next appointment before they leave because it's so quick. So they're getting their fills every 2 weeks. So I had a good 20, 30 clients immediately built up over the first few months. And so for the first few years, I didn't do as much hair as I did nails. Hair, over 2 or 3 years, I started to get a few clients that liked what I did as I started to accidentally get a little better. I had no mentor. I just figured it out on my own. And that's why I tell people, go work for a good stylist and learn more than what you barely picked up in school, you know? And some schools are better than others, but I wouldn't say mine was great, but it was good enough to get me a job. So as I'm doing nails, they're booking every 2 weeks. And then they get to the point where they want to book out for the rest of the year because one lady doesn't want the other lady to get her time slot next year. So let me just do a few months in advance. Let me do all year. And so I'm doing hair, not rescheduling them. So I'm at another guy's salon for 7 years. And right at 7 years, I go into my own salon and I'm getting a computer at this point. And I'm instead of the paper book, and I'm thinking, it's got this reschedule button. I'm thinking, why am I not rescheduling my clients? So I start rescheduling my hair clients, and then all of a sudden, one of the guys that I hire, he said, wait, you reschedule all your clients? He goes, oh my goodness, I just paid $100 to go to a seminar, and that's all they taught about is how powerful rescheduling is. I said, I felt like I just saved $100, you know? And he starts explaining to me. So we started doing the math. If you let a customer figure out, let's say I cut her hair today, and let's just say she should be getting her hair cut in 4 weeks. But when in those 4 weeks, you cut her hair here, and you should be doing it again, at the 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. But what happens is around the third week, she starts noticing her hair is not where she likes it. So maybe in a day or two, she calls, and then you're maybe not able to fit her in when she wants to be fit in. So she ends up getting her appointment somewhere between 5 and 6 weeks. And so I started to realize the power of, if I talk to them hey, you're like a dentist, you're going to be coming back to me, right? Yes. Yeah. So let's go ahead. You leave. And she says, I'm never going to remember it. I know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you on the book in 4 weeks. No pressure. You don't have to pay if you miss it or forget it. Don't worry about the negative side. I'm going to call you a couple of days before and remind you. And if for some reason you can't make it on that day because of work or vacation or whatever, then we'll just reschedule it or cancel it or whatever we have to do. But let's just get you on the books so we don't have any trouble getting you on the books. And what that did was I did the math. Over 52 weeks in a year divided by coming every 4 weeks, how much money I made from that client compared to every 6 weeks, it was a lot more money and a lot less clients. So I didn't need as many clients in the beginning as I'm booking. I got so powerful at this rescheduling that I had everybody rescheduling for a year in advance. First, just the next appointment. After 2 or 3 appointments and me doing it for 2 or 3 months, then every client that came in, the next tier was, I started somewhere in the middle of the summer. So it was somewhere around October about now, when I'm telling people, what are we really in November now, right?
We're in November. Yeah, we're in November now.
So somewhere around October, though, for me, I'll start realizing like, oh, goodness, the holidays are coming up. Your next appointment might need to be your next 2 or 3 appointments. I've got this ability to click on the screen now, like schedule from this date to this date. So let's just do every 4 weeks for the next 12, 14, 18 months. Yeah, some of them will fall on your vacations, birthdays, holidays. We'll adjust those when they come, but let's just get you on the schedule. I'll click a button and email you or text you all your appointments, and we'll go from there. So now I'm able to look at my book 3 months, 6 months in advance and see that I'm 60, 70, 80, 90% booked. And if I'm 80% booked, I need to raise my prices. It's hard to tell if you should raise your prices or where you're at when you're just scheduling the next client as they come. I've seen really good, busy hairdressers who have openings 3 days from now, 4 days from now. They always fill up because their clients know they can just call and fill them up. And they're booked solid all the time, but not more than a few days in advance or a week or two. When you do it like this, you have so much more power over so many things, and you make so much more money. And you even get to this place that I got to where during the consultation, I would talk about how my day works. I work with assistants. And if somebody was like, ooh, I don't want somebody else styling my hair, I want you to. Well, I don't style hair anymore because I don't have time. I'm trying to do the things I do the best. Styling is not one of those life or death things like you mess up somebody's color or their cut. It's a bigger problem to fix. But if they don't style it great, I can fix that or get it somebody else to, but I've already trained them. I know what they do. They do a good job. And you were referred to me by somebody who had my assistant style their hair too. But if for some reason, my attitude was I try to keep a good attitude, but it was hard sometimes when they get a little bitchy about it. And they're like, no, I want you. Goodbye. This is how I work. I use assistants. You don't tell a doctor, don't use your nurse. I want you taking my blood pressure and administering the IV. No, it's not how it works. I am Dr. Bernard, and this is how I work. And if they gave me crap about like, I want you to stop. Oh no, I want you to apply my color. No, I'm going to decide what color goes on your head. That's where the expertise comes. But I taught her how to apply it, and so she's going to apply it. And it's okay if you don't like that. There are other hairdressers in here that do all their own work. They're broke, but little stab. But they'd be happy to do your hair, and I'll even help them. I'll even help them formulate the color. Now, I didn't usually have to go that deep, but that was just my mindset. Like, if you're not going to work the way I want to work, I can happily, internally, not like you, but fully recommend someone else.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wait, and then it got better. And we're going to make your next appointment before you leave today. And she's like, one lady did say, oh no, I need you to do my foils, and I don't know my schedule in the future. I said, I know, but I do know mine. And if you don't make it right now, you may not be able to get back in with me. And you're going to like the way we do your hair today. And if you can't get an appointment later, you'll be mad. You'll be blasting me like I couldn't fit you in. I didn't make you an appointment. So we need to be sure we get you on the book now. And in the consultation one time, a lady told me, I just never make appointments before I leave. I said, that is okay. I'm going to recommend another stylist to you because I don't do clients anymore that won't make their future appointments in advance. It's just not worth our time. And she ended up doing it my way. I will let your assistant do whatever, and I'll try it your way. Of course you're going to try it my way. It's the only way I do it. If you don't do it my way, you don't get your hair done by me. You can't start off with that kind of attitude, that arrogance. and it doesn't come across arrogantly. It comes across confidently, like if you do it right. I know I'm sounding a little arrogant now. It makes the
I
story,
don't, it's
you know,
not
fun.
arrogance though, but see, it's not arrogance because
Good.
this is, I need to say, you're right. It is not arrogance. This is what hairdressers, are we allowed to say piss me off?
No, don't curse, because then
It's not, is that cussing? Okay.
they don't show our video to as many people if we
This
say that.
is why hairdressers make me angry times 10. Okay.
All of them, but too many. You're
No,
right.
too
Our
many.
industry can go from so professional to so unprofessional. There's such a big gap.
But
And we
then,
want everybody to get up
but
there.
look, it's not just the hairstylists either. You clients out there that are watching this, all of yous equally make me angry times 10, okay? And fill in the word, replace that with some cuss words. You guys all make me nuts. You guys make me mental. Look, you want to look good. You want to feel good. You want your hair, nails, face is the representation of yourself. It is what you are putting out there to the world. It is what you are putting out there to yourself. If you look yourself in the mirror and you don't like what you see, ain't nobody else out there gonna like what they looking at either. And you ain't doing no favors to nobody by going outside and showing your ugly face. Okay?
I like this face. Yeah.
You love that face, right? That's a face to stare at, baby. So here's the thing. Your hair, just like your body, just like your face, just like your health, takes work. You need to come in. And when the doctor says, oh, I'm going to book your next physical 8 months from now, you're going to move heaven and earth to make sure you get in for that physical.
Right.
You want to be healthy. You want to feel good, right?
And we want the same respect.
We
that's
want the
all.
same thing for you.
And you have to demand it.
And
yourself.
this is the thing. Look, this is the reason why I was never strong at rescheduling, but I didn't realize I was never strong. I thought I just never put any stock into it, but I was wrong. I was not good at rescheduling because I just would do it without thinking about it. Mm-hmm. When I was the owner of my salon, when I had my own shop, I had assistants, I would triple book, I would quadruple book. I never cared when somebody wanted to come in. I would just say, come. When? Right now? Yeah, just come right now. When are you going to get me in? Just come over and I'll get you in when you get here. No worries. Just come. And it was such a party that some clients would sit there for like an hour just hanging out and they'd be getting other things, like, while you're waiting, go get your nails done. Or just come over here and sit next to me and we'll all talk. Here, this is Mary, this is Susan, this is, Tanya, this is Heather, whatever, right? And everybody was just hanging out and we just eventually got through everybody after 12 hours of working. Right. And it was fun. It was just fun.
Right.
Now, when I made the shift to working at the distributorship half the time and then being behind the chair half the time, I had to think about, if I'm only behind the chair half the time, I need to produce as if I've been behind the chair all day long. But I have a physical limitation of only being there for 4 hours or 5 hours. I can't be there for 10, 12 hours. So how do I do it? The only way to do it is to guarantee that I know if I'm going to go into the salon tonight, why am I going? I'm going for one person? That sucks. But that's what I got to do because I still have to respect that one person. But how much better would it be if I knew I'm going in for 5 people? On the drive there, you're just mentally, you're like, just one freaking person. This is so annoying, right? Or you're on the drive there, you're like, all right, let's do this. Let's go. We got 5 people tonight, It puts you in a better mindset. So then when I would get there, at the end of the appointment, I would say, look, I'm not here all the time. I'm only behind the chair part-time. I need to make sure that I get you on the book because my time is very limited. It then grew into, hey, you know what? Holiday time is every month. Like the joke is there's a Hallmark holiday every week. Well, you know what? If there's a Hallmark holiday every week, then there's a reason to celebrate something every week. Then you need to get in because there's Thanksgiving, because there's Hanukkah, there's Christmas, there's Kwanzaa, there's New Year, there is whatever the hell's in January month. There is Valentine's Day in February. There's March Madness and the Irish thing, with the green hair. St. Patty's Day. You know, you
Yeah.
got April Fools in April, right? Like every month there is something happening that there is to celebrate for, and that's awesome. And you should take advantage of that, and you should look good for that. And if not, and if you need to use that as an excuse to look good, so be it. If not, then for nothing else, for your own mental sanity sake and self, make an appointment. Because when you come to the salon, look, you're not really a movie guy. Do you remember the movie Goonies?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I remember the name. I don't remember watching
For
it.
any of you watching the Goonies, you know, they're in the well and they're arguing over the wish and they're talking about Copperfield and the famous quote, you know, the famous speech that he gives, he's like, you know, up there, out there, that's their time, but down here, this is our time down here. So to all of you ladies, or you know what, even the guys who come into the salon too, book your next appointment. And if your schedule is that mental that you never know day to day what the hell is going on, at least carve out an hour for yourself once every 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever that time is, for your own mental sanity. And just come in and relax.
Can you believe it's been 51 minutes? I mean, we're come here, Casper. We're so
holy cow! Wow, no,
passionate about Casper's getting his hair done today.
Yeah, oh, see,
Look at
even he makes time for himself once every couple of weeks.
One of my stylists said, "Bring him in on Thursday morning. The hairdresser I assist doesn't come in till noon. I'll brush him out on Thursdays." I was like,
nice.
She's already pre-booking his appointment. Lay down, boy.
See,
lay down.
Then he already knows. So you're even getting the dog trained on it.
Ready to go.
Ready to go. I did not realize it's been 51 minutes already. Yeah, we are way over.
And I got an appointment in a few minutes. I know. That's what's fun about these passionate topics. They go so fast.
No, that is awesome. Look, I want to know, comment people, let us know, how do you guys do it? What do you guys think of CPR? Whether you're the stylist or if you're a client watching this too. You know, it matters. It makes a big difference. So thanks everybody for watching. We'll catch you next week. Look at them go.